students, welcome to today's class. Today we are looking the revision of chapter 7, Ashoka the Emperor who gave up war. We are going through the textbook, important points which is underlined with the pencil. We see on our notes and coins, they carved on stone. It is placed on the top of massive stone pillar at Saranath, underline word Saranath. Ashoka was one of the greatest rulers known to the history, and on his inscriptions were inscribed on pillars. The empire that Ashoka ruled was founded by his grandfather Chandragupta Maurya, underline Chandragupta Maurya. He was supported by a famous wise man Chanakya or Kaudilya, underline Chanakya or Kaudilya. Many of Chanakya's ideas were written in the book called Arthashastra, underline Arthashastra. When the members of same family become rulers of one another, that family called the dynasty. Chandragupta, his son Bindusara, and Bindusara's son Ashoka, underline the names. There were several cities in the empire with black dots marked in the map. These include the capital Pataliputra, Takshila and Ujjain. Takshila was the gateway to the northwest, including Central Asia, while Ujjain lay on the route from the north to South India, underline the place names. As the empire was so large, the area around Pataliputra was under the direct control of the emperor, underline this. And this means that officials were appointed to collect taxes from farmers, headers, craftspersons and traders, underline farmers, headers, craftspersons and traders. Officials also punished those who disobeyed the ruler's orders. Messengers went to and fro, and spies kept a watch on the officials. Just underline spies. Royal princes were often sent as governors. Local customs and rulers were probably followed. Just underline governors. Mauryas tried to control roads and rivers, which were important for transport, and to collect whatever resources were available as tax and tribute. Just underline roads and rivers control. Arthashastra tells us that the northwest was important for blankets and South India for its gold and precious stones. Just underline gold and precious stones. The people also lived in the forested regions. They were given elephants, timber, honey and wax to the Mauryan officials. Megasthenes was an ambassador who was sent to the court of Chandragupta by Greek ruler Seleucus Dictator, underline Seleucus Dictator, Megasthenes ambassador. In his account, Megasthenes writes about the royal procession of the kings at that time, and he wrote about the Pataliputra, modern Patna. It was a large city and surrounded by the massive wall and the houses and the made of the houses with mud, wood and brick. The most famous Mauryan ruler was Ashoka. He wrote his messages through inscriptions. Most of Ashokan inscriptions written in the Prakrit and the Brahmi script. Just underline Prakrit and Brahmi script. Kalinga was a coastal Orissa place. Ashoka fought a war to conquer Kalinga. He was so horrified when he saw the violence and bloodshed that he decided not to fight any more wars. So after the Kalinga war, he gave up the war. After the Kalinga war, Ashoka was ready to decide to observe Dharma and to teach others about it as well. And he sent his daughter and son as ambassadors to spread his Dharma to Sri Lanka. Ashoka's Dharma did not involve worship of a god or performance of a sacrifice. Just underline performance of a sacrifice. He was also inspired by the teachings of Buddha. There were several problems troubled him in his empire. So he thought that his duty was to solve all these problems. So he appointed some officials, Dhamma Mahamanda, to different places to teach about his Dharma. Not only that, he inscribed his messages on rocks and pillars, and he sent some messengers to Syria, Egypt, Greece, and Sri Lanka. He built roads, dug wells, and built rest houses, and arranged treatment for both human and animals. He arranged medical treatment, just underline medical treatment, and the Mahamanda, and the name of countries Syria, Egypt, Greece, and Sri Lanka. Underline these important verses. The important messages of Ashoka's were being gentle with slaves and servants, respecting one's elders, treating all creatures with compassion, giving gift to Brahmins and monks. It is both wrong to praise one's religion or criticize another's. Each one should respect the other's religion. If one praises one's religion while criticizing another's, one is actually doing greater harm to one's own religion. Therefore, one should try to understand the main ideas of another religion and respect it. This was the messages done by Ashoka. Before the time of Mauryan Empire, the China empires built the Great Wall at China. They built to protect the northern frontier of the empire from the pastoral people. The wall were made over a period of 200 years because the frontiers of the empire kept shifting. The wall is about 6,400 kilometers long and it is made of stone and brick. The Mauryan Empire collapsed about 2200 years ago. After them, the Indo-Greeks ruled. After the Indo-Greeks, the Shakas become the kings of Western India. And after 500 years, the Shakas were defeated by the Gupta rulers, and the Kushans were become the after the Gupta kings. In the north and the parts of central India, a general of the Mauryas named Pushyamitra Shunga set up a kingdom. The Shungas were followed by another dynasty, Kanvas. After Kanvas, the Shatavaganas become the rulers. After the Shatavagana, the Vagadagas become the powerful in central and western India. In South India, the Cholas, Cheras, and Pandyas ruled between 2200 and 1800 years ago. After them, the Pallavas and Chalukyas and several other kingdoms and kings also ruled in the South India. Underline the names of the kings and kingdoms. We have seen about the Mauryan ruler Ashoka. His writings were in the pillars, the lions pillar that is Saranath, and Chandragupta Maurya was his grandfather. He was founder of the Mauryan Empire, and his wise man Chanakya Kaudilya, his ideas were written in the book Arthashastra, and dynasty Chandragupta Maurya, his son Bindusara, after his son Ashoka. And Pataliputra was the main capital of Mauryan Empire, and war with Kalinga. Kalinga was the coastal area. Ashoka was trying to conquer the Kalinga. After the Kalinga war, he gave up war. And his dharmas or ideas were respecting others and other religion, and we want to show the compassion to the animals and for the human being. And many other rulers ruled North India and South India after the Mauryan Empire. Cholas, Pandyas, Cheras, and Pallavas, Shatavaganas. There were some of the rulers ruled in different part of India. So underline the important points and read it carefully.